It's important to check the following before we begin filming. On the front of the main camera body here, you will see a neutral density filter. It's set to off, but there's an option for 1/4 or 1/16. This is an internal wheel within the camera that dictates how much light is allowed down the lens and into the camera. And it's there to compensate for the fact that there are different strengths of light. Electric light is far weaker than natural sunlight. So if you find yourself shooting indoors under electrical light, as is the situation here, you will leave the neutral density filter in the off position. If, however, you are outside under natural daylight, because daylight is much stronger, you will move this wheel up to 1/4. You can see the effect it has here straight away. It darkens the screen, and that's to compensate for the brightness of the sun. The third option is the 1/16. If we bring this 1/16 all the way up, you will see the screen gets extremely dark. So we would only use this in high summer, 12 noon, where the sun is extremely bright, and that's not going to happen this semester. So your options are as follows. If your primary source of light is electrical light, leave the filter off. If your primary source of light is natural sunlight, move the filter to 1/4 neutral density. Directly below this switch, we come to what is called the white balance, WHTBAL, and this switch has 3 settings, preset, A and B. It works in conjunction with another switch on the side of the camera here, or rather on the front of the camera here. You probably are struggling to see that, it's in the dark, but where my finger is resting there's a little button with the words, or the letters AWB written over them. This is the auto white balance. The reality with white balance is that it's important to let the camera know what colour white looks like under the lighting conditions it is set up in, because obviously strength of light can affect what the colour white looks like. So the camera makers give you 3 options. A preset option, which is sort of a lowest common denominator, preset. And then options A and B, which are simply memory storages that allow you to store 2 different white balance values. Preset is there because this is primarily a news camera. And because of that, it means you may find yourself in a situation where you're waiting for somebody to make a statement outside the dial and you don't have time to do a proper white balance because you can't plug in and you don't want to waste batteries. So ultimately, as soon as the speech begins, you will just slide the white balance down to preset and you'll get a relatively lowish common denominator reading for the white balance. A and B, however, allow you to practically set a proper white balance. I'm going to go to A, and what I do here is I get a sheet of white paper, simple sheet of white paper, and I hold it up in front of my camera and I zoom in until the entire screen is taken up with that white. Once I have done that, I go to the button I pointed out earlier, the AWB button on the front of the camera here, and I hold it in for approximately 3 seconds. You can see it says Auto White A operation, Auto White A OK. I have now told the camera that that is what the colour white looks like in this current situation. Remember, we're in standby mode. When I press this once, we go into record mode, and when I press it again, we come out of record mode. The situation, or the positioning of this record button has to do with the fact that it's handy when the camera is mounted on the tripod, because you're going to be in filming like that, and therefore it's easy to access with your thumb. However, should you decide to put the camera on your shoulder, and I'm going to demonstrate that now by pressing the red lever back and pulling the black lever out on the camera plate, I can now free my camera. So my option here is to shoulder mount the camera. You can see on the base here, soft padding. I put that on my shoulder like so. You can see I've got a grip for my hand. So on this grip, there is the zoom lever. W for wide shot, T for tight shot. I go to my widest possible shot that way. I go to my closest possible shot that way. But most importantly, when I'm in shoulder mode, I'm actually using my body as a tripod like so. So with my body as a tripod, I can line up my shot, choose the angle I want, and then where my thumb is here, there is actually a secondary record button. So when I press this, I go into record mode, and when I press it again, I go out of record mode. The third record option is when you want to do handheld without the camera being on your shoulder. So you're walking along like this, holding the camera. And in this case, there is a third record button up here on top of the handle.